Hey, my brothers and sisters, are you liking this devotional so far? Are you being blessed by the Lord, receiving answers from the Lord, receiving new joy, receiving new strength, receiving hunger and thirst from God? I know that you have been receiving a lot from the words God during this time, prayer and fasting, and I want to encourage you, go to a deeper level. Keep praying, keep fasting, because I'm sure that all those who ask will receive. So it's time to seek the Lord. Let's seek deeper. The text that we are going to use as a base for our devotional today is Matthew chapter 7 verse 24. But actually, I want to start this devotional by quoting a sentence from John Stott. No one who does not practice what he already knows can hope to advance in his knowledge. So for real, think about this phrase. Nobody who does not practice what he already knows can hope to advance, can expect to advance in his knowledge. So why am I saying this? Because we always ask ourselves how we can go deeper into God's heart. We are always wanting new revelation and knowledge, but the truth is that we just don't live in currently of what we already know, and it's just don't make any sense. We need to walk, we need to practice what we already know. Maybe you keep going from revelation to revelation, study to study, but we don't even do what we already know. And that's a big problem. This is not inoffensive, church. During his life, Jesus advised us about those who listen and those who listen but don't practice. Here is some references that you can really read, and I ask you to read it right after this podcast to meditate, to digest what I'm saying. Here is the scriptures. Matthew chapter 7 verse 25 to 27, Luke chapter 6 verse 47 to 49, and also James chapter 1 verse 21. All these texts shows us that it doesn't matter what we know. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter how much you know about the truth. If the truth doesn't come to life in you, it must be heard and then lived out. This has been my prayer constantly. Lord, make me walk according to what I have already learned. When we understand this, it's not just about what we know, but rather how much you practice what you know. Are you living focusing on what you know? Because if it's not, you're not being wise according to the Bible. Because what the Bible shows us is that the difference between the fool and the wise is not what they know. It is not what they heard. According to these verses that I showed you, that I gave you, they're both, the fool and the wise, they're hearing the same word of God. But the wise one, he practices it, and the fool one, he doesn't listen. He doesn't obey what he hears. So this shows us that the difference between the fool and the wise, it is not how many informations, how much of informations do they have. It's how much do they practice what they know. So unfortunately, guys, we are in a generation that knows that we need to pray, but we don't pray. We know that we must spread the gospel, but we don't. Yet, we are always wanting for something new, a new revelation, a new experience. But this is just not coherent. Listen and obey. That's the goal. Listen and then obey. So after all you have been hearing in this podcast, in your prayers and reading the Bible, the scriptures, start to practice. Don't want to go to the next revelation if you don't practice what you already know. Do you know you should pray? So pray. Do you know that you should evangelize? So evangelize. Make disciples, then do it. Don't wait for the next step if you don't practice what you already know. And I say this, church, with all the love in my heart. Truly. So I'll give you some prayer points about this matter. So here is some prayer points, okay, for this reflection. Pray that God gets your attention to what we need to improve. Pray that you start to practice what you already know, and pray that God makes you a wise person in His ways and His definition. Don't want to be wise like because you have a lot of information or a lot of knowledge of the scriptures, but want to be wise because you practice what you know. This is what we need in the church. This is what we need for these days. We don't need any more new revelations. We have already a lot of experience, but we need to practice, church. We need to practice. That's the word for today. That's the goal. Listen and obey. Because we want to listen and listen and listen, and what's next, what's something new, but we just don't do what we already know. So I hope this blesses you. I hope this encourages you, and pray for these points, and also go back to the scriptures verses that I just gave you in this devotional and meditate in it. Okay, go deep in the scriptures. I hope that God blesses you. He keeps blessing you, and I see you. Okay, love you all. God bless you.